Speaker of the House of Representatives Yakubu Dogara has hailed President Bola Tinubu's sweeping tax reforms as the boldest physical overhaul in Nigeria's history. But he warns that without transparency and public trust, the reforms may not achieve their promise. At the maiden Distinguished Parliamentarian Lecture in Abuja, Dogara said President Tinubu inherited what he called an economy riddled with debris from deficit financing to forex racketeering and all for loans deals. The reform set to take effect fully in January 2026 consolidates 16 tax laws into 4 principal acts. They include the Nigeria Tax Act 2025, which unifies tax rules, expands coverage to digital assets and crypto, and introduces a 15% minimum effective tax rate for large companies. Other provisions established a new Nigeria Revenue Service, a tax ombudsman, and harmonized federal-state revenue sharing. Small business and individual earning under 800,000 naira annually are exempt, while multiple levies are replaced with a single 4% development levy. Dogara described the reforms as courageous but urged government to use the revenues wisely.
CBN, which is Central Bank of Nigeria, without producing any goods or offering any services whatsoever. And also tying our crude sales to foreign loans in the name of forward sales of crude was fast becoming the order of the day. Some of the foreign loans had been procured in order to help strengthen the value of the naira, a measure that could only be sustained by what experts call voodoo economics. So from day one, it was very clear that something urgent, nay, revolutionary, must be done to prevent our economy from imploding. So the president's job as an economic reformer began on day one. Now every reformer knows that progress is no promise, it is fought for. All that a reformer is actually bothered about is to do the right things, not to have everything under control. As a matter of fact, if everything seems under control, it is not only an indication that you are not going fast enough, you are most probably not a reformer.
Speaker Tajuddin Abbas, represented at the lecture, also praised the reforms as a decisive step to simplify compliance and ease burdens on ordinary Nigerians.
Tax net and ease the burden on ordinary Nigerians. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellency, the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee, chaired by Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, has provided a blueprint to simplify compliance, harmonize taxes, expand the net, and reduce the burden on ordinary citizens. These recommendations, which of course made it into the eventual passage of the bills, have informed far-reaching legislation transmitted to and diligently processed by the National Assembly. The 10th House of Representatives, consistent with our People First legislative agenda, devoted considerable energy to painstakingly vetting these bills.
Now, the tax ID is just an identity to recognize you as a taxable person. And so that now, does it come to our next step where why do the bank account needs that? It's an identification because we need to start knowing our taxpayers. Some do businesses and they just collect money and nobody knows anything about it. What the law is saying is that we want to know everybody. We want to know all our taxpayers. And we know some places where they will show face.
The government's commitment to ensuring that tax policies support economic diversification and reduce overdependence on oil revenue. It is equally important that these reforms are communicated clearly and effectively as well as efficiently to the public so citizens can understand their rights and responsibilities.
For us in CISLAC, we support government tax reform because we want our taxation to be more transparent, more accountable, and to also be used for the benefit of Nigerian people. We all know that Nigeria is losing a lot from illicit financial flow as a result of avoidance and refusing to pay taxes. Taxes that are supposed to be paid by multinational corporations and some powerful companies in Nigeria, they get diverted, and Nigerians, they don't see any development.
Civil society and media leaders echoed calls for transparency, stressing that taxes must be deployed to roads, schools, and hospitals. As debate continues, stakeholders agree Tinubu's reforms may rewrite Nigeria's physical history, but only if government earns the people's trusts. Oluwatobi Eyiton, reporting for TV Platinum.